All right, welcome everybody to our Game of the Month discussion for December, coming at you in the middle of the month because who wants to run into holidays? But this month we are talking about the one and only Pikmin 1, which has appeared on the Nintendo GameCube, the Nintendo Wii, and the Nintendo Switch. So it's been on literally... Technically, it was also released digitally on Wii U, so it has appeared on every Nintendo generation since its inception. But joining me for the discussion today, we got the one and only Sir Lols, the SMWiz, and a newcomer for today's discussion, the PikMonOh himself. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me for Game of the Month discussion number whatever the heck this is.
It's good to be here, as always.
Thanks for having us.
Woo.
All right, so, you know how this goes. How did you guys first get introduced to the world of Pikmin? Did you play this one when it was brand new, or get introduced to it later? So I guess I'll start us off real quick here, because I did not play the first Pikmin until the Wii release, every year that happened to be in, and I only played it for about half an hour. But I played the second one when it was brand new, and spent a lot of time doing the co-op on that one. So that was the game I was definitely more familiar with. But we'll go ahead and start with SMWiz here today, because he's got the wonderful shrine to Pikmin set up down there, and it's just absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, I don't know how gorgeous it is. We're missing Pikmin 2 on the GameCube, and so I mean it's incomplete. But
F in the chat.
Yep, F's in chat. Incomplete collection. I don't have the 3DS one either. But no, my introduction to it was on the GameCube, so I picked that up within the first year of it coming out, and you said you played for about half an hour. I didn't get as far into that one either, but we can get more into that after everyone's done their introduction. But yeah, I started with it on the GameCube and picked up the other titles as they came along.
Yep. All right. We're going to save PikMonOh for last here, because I think PikMonOh is probably going to have the best story out of all of us when it comes to Pikmin. Zachary, how'd you first get introduced to Pikmin 1?
My first little backstory for Pikmin in general. My first Pikmin experience was Pikmin 2 for the GameCube sometime back in 2007.
Nice.
I went to had a sleepover with a friend at the time. We went to feeling like a dinosaur. We went to the local Blockbuster to rent a game, and we decided on Pikmin. Played the multiplayer, had a blast with that, and yeah, look at that. But yeah, so Pikmin 2 multiplayer is what got me into Pikmin, and then I bought it when another video store was going out of business sometime around 2011. I bought it from their game section, and as for Pikmin 1, I only played it because it's the Game of the Month discussion, honestly.
Hey, that's fair.
Part of that was intentional before Pikmin gets going on his story. I don't know, like I guess we'll touch up on this later on as we discuss it, but the reason I avoided it was actually intentional, because I always saw it as a play once, be done, short game, so I was like, I'm not going to waste my money picking that up.
I mean, I think it's a fair assumption for the first one, that's for sure, but anyway, Pikmin, regale us with your tales of Pikmin history.
You see, it all started with a random YouTube video I found on the second game.
As most good things do.
Yeah. Then I had the Wii U come out, and I got Pikmin 3 like day one. I played that, ruined the controls. I cried a little, but that's besides the point. Then eventually, I figured out that Pikmin 1 and 2 were on the eShop, and I got 2 first, played that, and then eventually I got 1. So ironically, first one's the last one I played. But it was love at first sight. the constant combat. It's just, it's good.
Well, I mean, obviously it's stuck because of your username and all being being an inspiration for the username. Hey, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But yeah, so I mean that goes kind of what I said earlier. It did get that digital re-release on the Wii U, so thanks to that, a fan was born. Like, how fun is that? But anyway, I think we all played it on a different platform for Game of the Month this year. So I went back and was actually playing on the original GameCube version. Unfortunately, I didn't finish my playthrough because of a bunch of RetroTink 4K stuff that I got distracted by, but that's okay. So which platforms did you guys play it on for Game of the Month this time around?
I did the Switch version, the
Switch version
cartridge.
Nice.
Yeah, I also did the physical Switch version.
Oh, okay.
I did the Wii U one. I wanted my motion controls.
There you go. I think I have to say, having played the Wii version and the GameCube version, that the Wii version is definitely easier to handle, which is one of those rare instances where I will actually prefer the Wii version of something, because I'm not going to lie, I hate the Wii. But there are those instances where things actually work out like they're supposed to. And Pikmin and Pikmin 2 are definitely one of those games. So, very cool.
I have to agree, the Wii version is surprisingly superior. The Wii pointer is a very good aiming tool. Like, you know, there's genuine discussion about it working for FPS games, but for a tactical, you know, command type game, the pointer worked very well because, you know, classic Pikmin with controllers, it's more tedious to aim because sometimes you have to back up to turn around, you know, whereas with the pointer, you can point where you want to throw your pickies and walk in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Regardless of feelings for the Wii, I have to say the Wii version, you know, if you're not a purist, I'd say the Wii version is actually probably the best version to play.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird, too, that with a GameCube, where Nintendo brought in their first dual-stick controller, that we weren't moving with one stick and aiming with the other stick?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of disappointed that
the handles so much better.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what Nintendo did that entire generation. Because, I mean, look at other games of theirs. Metroid Prime, Metroid Prime 2. I think their only dual-stick... Yeah, I think their only dual-stick game was Geist. And
less said about that game, the better.
I know a lot of people that love that game to death, but it unfortunately has the distinction of being the only game that has ever made me throw up and get motion sick. So I've been scared to ever go back and retry it because of that. Like, I really want to, because I think it's very interesting concept, but anyway, we're talking about Pikmin today. Well, we could do Guys for Game of the Month one of these years and make me throw up on camera. That'd be great. But yeah, controls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I won't say that they were awful, but I mean, once you, like, if you only played it on GameCube, or I don't know if the Switch version has the option to do GameCube and motion controls.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It only has the stick controls. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, disappointing.
Yeah, so I mean, if you've only played it on GameCube, or if you've only picked it up on Switch, it is what it is. You get used to it, you play the game, you enjoy it, and you make it through. But
I got used to it when I played Pikmin 2 for the GameCube, because like I said, I bought the GameCube version when the video store was closing. But once I saw they re-released Pikmin 2 on the Wii, I picked that version up, and I've never gone back.
Yeah. But there's something to be said about when you finally get like that much better control scheme introduced into a game.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to fascinating that for the time. It's definitely serviceable, but I think it's an outdated control scheme. I'll put it like that.
I'm honestly a little like surprised that the Switch version didn't include both control schemes, because I mean, look at what
Yeah.
Metroid Prime Remastered did.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
Metroid
not
Prime
just
Remastered.
Metroid Prime Remastered, but also the Mario 3D All Star Collection, because the Wii
Yeah.
Mario game, Galaxy, included the option for point controls or just Pro Controller.
Yeah.
Which you
Yeah.
didn't have before. So it's like it's really weird for them to remaster this and not update or address the control scheme.
Yeah, or they could have even, at the very least, allowed you to aim with the C stick by
Yeah.
default.
Yeah. Some
Like-
quality of life.
Because even Metroid Prime, when it released, you can swap like if you play with the classic controls, you can swap. No, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
It's obviously dual analog, so obviously you lose the C stick for swapping beams. Well, Metroid Prime's their solution was to, if you push the Z button or the ZR or whatever it is, the top bumper, and the C stick would no longer move your camera, but it would select your beams. But then you could also have it to, instead of select beams, you could have it select visors if you wanted your beams on the D-pad instead of the visors.
Yeah.
So I don't know why wrong game. Sorry, I'm tired. I don't know why Pikmin on Switch couldn't have added that same thing.
Well, I mean,
Dev teams, different project managers, different product managers.
yeah, different type of scope and
Not enough. Look, when it's all inside your same company, there's nothing wrong with peeking at the kid next to you, their desk, and see what they wrote on their test. There's.
I'm also
there's some
going to
value
throw
there.
a lack of caring in there. They charged $30 for this remake. That's not cool.
Yeah. It's even worse considering the Pikmin 3 Deluxe had motion controls you could put on.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, they hid it in the settings. I found it though.
That's unfortunate then.
I think it was mostly the transition from getting away from motion controls for Pikmin
Yeah.
4.
It's definitely going to be a mark against the game, but I don't want to drag on it too much because we've been discussing this. Because
That's all right.
the original Pikmin game released like this, so I don't want to judge it too much. But it is kind of unfortunate that we've gone through better means to control and then regressed.
I mean, at the same time, though, that's what we're talking about. Is like if we were strictly talking about the GameCube one, yeah, don't drag it so much. It's like that first, like. That era was still trying to figure out game controls, like like N64 and PlayStation 1 really struggled with the jump to 3D. But even those early years of GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, or Dreamcast, you go back and play some of those games, and they have some very interesting and control schema that don't match up with anything we do today. But
The
like,
only
we're not just talking about the GameCube version, we're talking about like 3 different versions. Like we're talking about a game that's been out 20-ish years, and it's really odd to choose not to address that, especially when you're like considering that a lot of Switch owners were maybe not around when the GameCube was out, and this isn't a matter of them just being like, oh yeah, I've played tons of old games and I get the inconvenience. Like this is like a legitimate thing to complain about if the controls are dated in a remaster or remake.
Yeah.
That's a good point. This was a second opportunity to make a first impression.
Yeah. And make new fans off of this release. But yeah, I mean, going back to what Wiz was saying, like early Gen 6 stuff did not have dual analog stuff figured out, with the exception of Halo 1. Like that's like the only exception for early Gen 6.
How many FPS games have you gone back to play the early dual analog, where your left stick up and down is walk forward and back, but your left and right is the turn?
I hate
And
that.
then the right
Legacy.
analog stick up and down is look up and down,
Legacy.
and right left is strafe.
Yeah, I hate that.
Legacy.
And of those games, how many of them don't have an option to change that?
I've actually not encountered many, thankfully, because I mean, Time Splitters 2 was Legacy, but you could change it in a custom controller layout.
But some of them you couldn't.
No, you couldn't in some of them. It's true.
I tried to go back and play Fur Fighters recently. I couldn't in circles like an idiot. I was like, man, I feel like the middle-aged dad trying to play a game with his kid and can't figure anything out.
Thank you, GoldenEye, for legacy controls. So I always have them ingrained in memory, despite not liking them and changing to 1.2 solitaire anyway. Anyway, Pikmin. So the story of Pikmin is Captain Olimar returning to, what is it?
Right.
I don't even remember the planet's name. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at this.
Not returning. His ship is struck and damaged, and he crash lands on an alien world that he's not familiar with.
Yeah, I thought he was like transporting something back from something, or is that
He was
Pikmin 3?
returning home to Hakate.
Hakate, yeah. So, and then he gets hit by the thing and crashes.
Yeah.
And his ship is scattered into what, 18 parts? About
30.
30. Oh
Not
man,
including the ship itself.
yeah, it's the game can last you about 18 days if you do it efficiently. That's right.
Speedrunners have it down to 5.
Oh,
That's me.
Because I got curious and I was like, how can you beat this game? And I looked it up and it's like, yeah, world record is 5 days. So I'm like, that is annoyingly impressive.
oh my, oh my. Okay, but I will say this about Pikmin: I really do enjoy its world build-up because it strands you on this planet. It has Olimar's inner dialogue showing off of the whole thing, and you're getting his thought process on it. You get introduced to the red Pikmin first, you get introduced to their strengths, and then as you gradually make it further into the game, you get introduced to the yellow, the blue, extra items, and then, of course, on how to use it all. And so I think that it has a very well-planned and well-thought-out build-up in difficulty and skill. Yet at the same time, if you're not familiar with this type of game, it will absolutely trounce you, as I discovered when I first played it back in the day, and it was watching all my little guys get gobbled up. It was beautiful. It's beautifully sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
so
very...
Sorry, go on.
I'll let you pick it up.
No, I was just going to say that, like, story and world building wise, I thought it was really cool. Like, I really liked the concept. And it's interesting, too, you talked about, if you don't know what kind of game you're playing, because it's like an RTS puzzle.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's a good way of putting it.
I've not seen, I think, that combo somewhere else, an RTS puzzle game.
No.
Then you've also add on there, though, but it's not just a puzzle, it's a timed puzzle,
And that's stressful.
Yeah, stressful is a good word. Annoying is another. So when you're the person who likes to like stand back and really look at all the pieces before making your decision, that timer is frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. But again, let's say it's like I like the concept, and I like, to your point, like the how they build the world up and slowly expand your arsenal of tools.
Yep.
Yeah, that time-based puzzle, I think it's very well executed though, because again, for context, I started with Pikmin 2, so while there is a time limit, there's no day limit. So, I guess I kind of got used to a more relaxed pace. I didn't think I'd enjoy the time limit, but I actually found it made the game, I think, much more compelling than it would have been if there was no time limit. Because it's the day limit is what really solidifies the puzzle aspect, because the puzzle isn't just finding all the components, it's optimizing your own strategy with the pieces you have. It forces you to play outside your comfort zone, but the clues are there, right? Like once you kind of figure out, oh crud, I gotta be careful of my days. I think when you get pushed outside your comfort zone, you realize like there's actually a very good safety net. You kind of realize like maybe this isn't as impossible as I thought it was. I can leave like 50 Pikmin to build this bridge, and then I'm going to go grab that part that I saw over there with these blue Pikmin while they do that.
Yeah.
And then you hear the chime and oh, I need to go back and get those guys. So
yeah,
I think that, well, Yeah, I think the day mechanic is actually a part of Pikmin that has been lost, maybe for the worst, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm in the minority there because I actually the timed element is probably my least favorite part of the game. Like I think I'd enjoy it a lot more if I were just allowed to be, like casual in what I was doing. Even if it meant like if you rebalance the game by providing me fewer Pikmin, so I have to be more deliberate in my choices.
Yeah.
Like, but again, that's just personal preference. Like I
think a
would
part of it
rather
too
I'd rather
is
exchange because right now it's like I feel like they give you tons of resources, but they say hurry, 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 and I'd
Mhm.
rather just kind of take my time, even if it meant that I had fewer tools and it had to be a lot more
Yeah,
thoughtful, kind of like chessboardy in what I'm doing.
yeah.
Wiz
I
wants to do
think
a battle cruiser rush and not a Zerg rush. Like, let's go.
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
in StarCraft terms. That's it. I want to roll in with battle cruisers and carriers. I don't want to do
yeah,
SCV battles.
yeah. I mean, that's totally fair, but I think um the the creative side of me doesn't think I think the time limit is necessary in that uh it makes the simple tools complex, if that makes sense, because Pikmin isn't really that deep in the sense that an RTS would be.
Nah, RTS light.
Because when you have an RTS, you got units and squads and strengths and weaknesses, and yes, Pikmin have weaknesses like they can swim or they're fire resistant, but you don't have the time to micromanage each one. So I think the day limit and the time limit kind of negates that loss of depth by making you really play very thoughtfully with the three elements you're given, the three Pikmin type versus micromanaging. It's like how well can you go? How well can you manage under the time limit? But I definitely get what you're saying. It would be cool if they did a spin-off, but that's
Whole other can of worms.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at Pikmin has crowd control, and I
Mhm.
was like, is there a thing to roll the clock back in here? And there is. I thought about cheating in the Game of the Month playthrough, just using crowd control and perpetually rolling my clock back to give myself infinite time. But then I was like, that might be slightly disingenuous for the Game of the Month discussion.
Not really, because the whole point is just experiencing the game the way you experienced it. So, I mean, if you wanted to just throw on like action replay codes, even like,
Indestructible.
yeah, I mean,
1,000 Pikmin on the map.
who are we to judge? Like, play games the way you want to play them. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of games I'm just trying to see the story of these days, I'll just throw a little cheat on real quick for the single player mode and run through it just to see the story, just so I can experience the gameplay. Like, save states, who cares?
It probably wouldn't have worked anyways. If I did crowd control anything, you would have been in their ice, just kill Pikmin over and over again.
It's true. I would have nuked you.
On enemy.
I would have been nuking him. It's true. Like, let's be honest here. I would have dropped the final boss on him like 5 times if that was an option.
Speaking, I didn't get to the final boss, so I don't know if we want to talk about that.
You didn't get to the final boss?
You didn't get.
Oh, I know the whole game. I may not have beaten it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, that guy. I didn't lose many Pikmin during that guy. I probably lost 300 Pikmin. I'm not.
He is definitely a giant skill gap.
Yeah,
from everything else.
That's so funny.
Particularly with the yellow Pikmin. I guess this is a good segue into the next thing I want to talk about. Pikmin 1 introduced me to the day limits, and I think it changed me to appreciate that because I didn't before. But Pikmin and Pikmin 1, there's no nice way to put it. They're stupid. The Pikmin, and not stupid in the sense that, well, you're the commander, you're supposed to be leading your troops. No. Like, it's not like they're not doing what I want them to do. It's I'm walking across a bridge and they fall into the water because they're stupid. It's like, cross the bridge. Why are you jumping into the water?
And
oh no!
You're walking back to the onion to go exchange Pikmin, and you go to turn them in, and you're like, 10 of them stopped somewhere along the way and are just kind of
Yeah.
chilling.
Oh my.
And they keep pulling that grass, and it's like, stop! I want you to follow me. Stop pulling the grass.
And they're like, no, wait, I saw some nectar. And you're like, whistle at them. And they're like, nah, I'm eating this nectar, bro. And you're like, whistle. Not a nectar, bro. It's like, do you not understand what whistle means? It means get over here right now.
Yeah. Stop with the nectar. I want you over here.
If this was a horse being trained in a desert environment, it would be strapped back to the pole for another 3 days before given the choice to come into the whistle or go into the water.
Like they were so stupid. It was unfortunately a challenge of itself, just trying to wrangle the stupid Pikmin. I'm just walking along the water, and then Red's like, "Yay!" It's like, stop.
I don't know how to swim, but let's jump in.
Yeah, it's like, stop. Right? Like, I'm not even crossing the water. Why are you jumping in?
That's too bad.
Yeah, and there were multiple puzzles where it's like layers, so I would throw them up on a cliff, and then I would go up there, and then when I called them, they would walk behind me and then back off the cliff. It's like, stop being stupid. So,
Oh man.
yeah, the grand finale of that was with the boss. Like, there are those bomb rocks.
Yeah.
And I would get the yellow Pikmin to pick them up, and the mouth would open as it would get ready to gobble up some Pikmin. So I'd throw a single yellow out there with the bomb, expecting it to throw the bomb, and it would just stand there and then get eaten. And the bomb still went off, so it did its job. But it's like, or you could just throw the bomb, yellow Pikmin. So at the end where I gave up trying to save the yellow Pikmin, I was like, all right, and you die.
It's the best strategy. Just throw everything you got at them.
Oh man.
Isn't that how you solve every battle in this game?
Yeah, you literally throw everything
Throw
you've brought with
100
them on
in
them.
it and
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, just let them bludgeon it to death.
Yeah.
See how many get eaten in the process, but
Yeah. During that final boss, like, I always try to keep my Pikmin alive, but it's like, they're like, okay, you all just want to die, so I'll just leave you to that. And that's a shame, because with Pikmin 2 and 3, it's like, they're not that stupid, right? Because like I get, just don't walk into the water, please.
I really
That's
enjoy
the problem.
the amount they elaborated on the Pikmin types as we moved on to 2 and onward. Like I just want to throw that out there real quick. Like for the first one, you're limited to the 3 types, if I remember right. So just red, blue, and yellow. And so it's like you don't get the purple ones and the white ones and the future pink ones and all those other fun things where they have all those cool little added abilities. So it just shows how the franchise has really evolved too. Like they got their core mechanic. They pretty well nailed it down, except for Red trying to decide it wants to swim, obviously.
Only in Pikmin 1.
Yeah, only in Pikmin 1. But yeah, I mean, there's something to be said that it works as well as it does, considering how limited it is at the same time compared to its future installments. But it does, and it's still one you can mostly go back and play. If you've played 3, you could go back and play 1. It's the same thing, except you have a more strict time limit and less things to work with. But you're going to know how to play the game.
Yeah, same concept. And it's beautiful when a game evolves like that, where the roots are just seen throughout. Like, the roots never change. Like, new branches might come and go, but Pikmin has always been the same game from day one.
But of course, you just got to play that amazing 3DS version, right, Pikmin? Pikmon?
I swear. You play that 3DS one.
Just got to troll him a bit.
If Pikmin 3DS somehow ended up on my 3DS, I'd throw it in a microwave.
I can donate.
That thing has never seen Pikmin.
The one person that's watching this video who thinks the 3DS version is the best one out of them all, like I apologize. You're up for a rude awakening right now. It is apparently trash. The ruler of the Pikmin, the ruler Pikmin of the Pikmin franchise has dubbed it so.
I haven't played it. I can't speak one way or another.
I haven't either. I haven't either. I've never even seen videos.
because they've been destroyed, like George Lucas with his Christmas special.
You might be able to, pick that up and be the literally only person on Twitch streaming that game. You can be the world's top, hey Pikmin streamer.
Well, I mean, I'd have to borrow your 3DS to do it. I don't have a cap card in mine.
I'll send mine over. Yeah. I do think one of the bigger weaknesses with Pikmin 1 specifically, I know I did praise the day mechanic, but I think as a game of the month discussion, it was a great one-time playthrough. But as a game with longevity, I think I do have to agree with Wiz that the day mechanic would become stressful if you just have to worry about day the entire time you play it. So while it's fun for a short speed running session, like if you're just trying to optimize, like a score, it's great for that. But I think for people just trying to casually enjoy games, I do think it's better that it went away. As weird as it is to say that, it's like, I love the mechanic, but I do see where it could get tiring.
Like, is there anything as frustrating as, like, getting through the whole field of enemies, making the bridges, and then picking up the part and not having enough time to get the Pikmin back to the ship with the parts?
Yeah.
That's my constant struggle with that game. I'm not very good at the game. Like,
Yeah.
I love RTSs, but Pikmin is... I don't jive with it as well. Like, I like the game, but I suck at it.
Yeah, I'm not a great Pikmin player either. Like, speaking from experience, where I was like, please walk faster. It says it needs 25 of you to carry it, and I threw 50 at it. Come on, walk faster.
I don't even care about the speed. I care about pathfinding. Like, again, can you please just walk around the corner? Just walk around the corner. You'll see me.
And how is it? Like, talking about, is it Forest Interior, where you get the blue onion?
Forest Naval.
Forest Naval. So there's several bombable walls, and there are some ramps you can build. So you get branching pathways in and out of your base. And you'll go out with Pikmin and, like, knock down the little flowers and, throw Pikmin at it to pick up the little seeds. And then they'll take 2 or 3 different ways to go back. And you're like, you guys are all starting in basically the same area. Like, what is this path thing that you're doing? That you're all like, I'm going to race you going this way, and you race me going that way.
They just got to have a little bit of fun in their servitude, dude.
I prefer efficiency.
As most dictators do.
I mean, hey, the Pikmin come to the whistle. That's their problem.
I'm not saying
Who
it isn't.
among us has not gotten upset and pitched a bunch of red Pikmin into the water as punishment to the others? Like, you see what happens if you don't step correct? Just like this, guys.
Step in line. Step in line or else. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And I definitely enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I'm not going to lie. Like, I really did enjoy it, but I think my original hunch is correct. I'm probably not really going to come back to it because I'm not a score person. So, I saw what there is to see.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I'll play it again sometime in the future, but it's only going to be like years in the future. And it's like, oh, I should try Pikmin again. It's been a while, but it's not going to be like forever dream, like Halo or something,
We'll have gone through so many Game of the Month discussions. We just do Pikmin 1 again. See how we feel about it 5 years later down the road.
We gotta start a list. Like, I know you have a playlist on YouTube. We need a document somewhere where we're keeping track of the games we've done.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, because it can help inform what games we do next.
Yeah. It's true.
Pin a note in the Game of the Month channel or something.
Yeah.
Just update that note every time we add a game.
Yeah. Make a Google spreadsheet or something. But yeah.
Checklist.
And then we'll just add Pikmin right here for this month's game of the discussion. But anyway, moving back onto topic, I want to talk about the art style of this game because I have a sweet spot for Gen 6 art styles. I love all the different things they try to do in Gen 6. Some of them try to push it too far and they don't look as great. Some use very stylized art styles. And so Pikmin is one of those ones where it tried to be stylized plus what was considered hyper realistic at the time with its environments. And I felt like overall it really blended well together. I mean, obviously the Pikmin models themselves are very low key and generic, as is Olimar's model. I mean, he's just basically a bunch of different ovals but
Ovalmar.
yeah, Ovalmar. Yeah, there we go. So, I mean, it's not much to look at in terms of the characters themselves, but the environments were definitely one of like the things that stuck in my mind for the GameCube era.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I was running it through the RetroTink 4K with all the crazy CRT shaders to like really give it that authentic time period feel too, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this game is like insanely gorgeous.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it looked like on a CRT. I kind of regret that I don't have that opportunity now.
It's important for that era of games and before.
I also think something helpful is it didn't have that ugly brown texture that was predominant during that generation of games.
That's Gen 7. That's Xbox 360 and PS3.
Fair.
That's where the turd filter came into play. Now, Gen 6 was when bloom was a big deal. Nasty old bloom and blur.
The fog.
Yeah. Bloom and blur. Yeah. Double combo of ugly. Twilight Princess, I'm looking at you. I hate that way that game looks, man.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Regardless, something else. You can definitely tell it's the first game in the series, and there wasn't a lot of thought put into it. The music kind of blows. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm spoiled from new Pikmin music, but like Pikmin 2 has such good music, and then I play Pikmin 1. There's just like it's like Temu Pikmin music.
Here's the other thing, though. I don't know that I'd say like not much thought went into it. I mean, because here's the thing, like it's a brainchild of Shigeru Miyamoto. I think it's more probably a question of how much budget was he given to go do this like thought experiment.
Yeah.
Because even like thinking about it, like it's kind of impressive that they managed to do this on a GameCube, because as much as we're all annoyed with how bad the Pikmin pathing is, little red Pikmin jumping off bridges, you still had a GameCube that was keeping track of the Olimar object, each enemy in range, and then up to 100 Pikmin. And so it's like it's impressive in that front.
Yeah, especially considering the RAM pool wasn't as expansive as say the original Xbox, but I mean, it was definitely better than PS2. So
it was definitely an incredible technological feat, because that's a lot of polygons to render.
Yeah. Especially with the environments too, man. Like.
Yeah, because to your point, it's like, they did an interesting blend where, they tried to make the environments look real. Like, the water's pretty good in that game, honestly.
Yeah.
But then with, the cartoon stylizing of characters and enemies.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, the soundtrack is pretty forgettable, honestly. I guess,
I don't remember it.
Was busy somewhere else. He had other things going on.
Wind Waker. Oh, man.
I'll allow it. Got a great soundtrack in that game.
Dude, freaking Wind Waker soundtrack's one of the greatest. Anyway.
Yeah, Wind Waker soundtrack is pretty good, but that's definitely something that hasn't aged as well, in my opinion, the music. It's like, ever since Pikmin 2 music came out, which is the very next game, it's like, nope, not taking this. Like, you stay over there, Pikmin 1 music. You're hideous.
I honestly can't even remember the music in Pikmin 1. Like, we're talking about it. Pikmin 1. I keep saying Pikmon because Pikmon's right here. Freaking heck.
It's like ambient sound a lot.
Yeah.
And, like, it's kind of okay, like, when you're talking about, like, exploring a jungle or a forest. It can get a little tedious when you're going to the same stage again and again and again.
Yeah. There's
at the same time, like,
variety.
Part of me where I'm like, you know what, though, if they brought in like a bigger composer or someone more dedicated, they probably would have driven the anxiety level up by making this music that was like intense or got crazy once you got to the second half of the day or something. It's like,
That would have been fun.
like the feeling of gloom or dread coming in,
Just see,
like
just see Wiz over in the corner, just.
What was it? Was it Sonic 2 with the infamous underwater music when you're running out of air? Yeah, that's what Pikmin needs is music to make you anxious about how little time you have left.
Something fun I actually found out recently, a little bit of a segue, but on topic to what we're discussing. Pikmin 2's music is actually very complex. It's not a single track. It's like 10 different, like each level has 10 different MIDI tracks that randomly get shuffled about, so you never get the exact same song twice. And it actually does that where if you approach an enemy, it'll highlight certain tracks and just shut off other tracks. And if you start with like 100 Pikmin, but at the end of the day you only have 10 Pikmin, it actually starts skipping beats in the music, so you kind of get that sense of loss and something's missing.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. That's what I mean when I say like Pikmin 2 really stepped up the music, and I didn't even know this until recently. It's very fascinating.
Gotta love old game dev, man.
They do the same thing in Pikmin 3 with the bosses. They have a bunch of tracks where, depending on what happens, it goes onto another branch, which has more branches and goes farther down. And it's really cool because depending on how many Pikmin you have, what stage or everything, you could have a completely different soundtrack.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's so fun.
Shame, Pikmin 1. How could you not know what was coming?
How dare you?
How dare you, first game in a series, not have all the innovations that would come from subsequent titles?
Yes.
Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, it's awful trying to play Mario Brothers and not having 20 power-ups in the first game on NES.
Yeah. I can't play as Toad. What is this tomfoolery?
Playing original Halo and not having like 6 different vehicles to jump in? Garbage game.
The AI can't drive the Warthog. I'm returning this.
What nonsense. Oh, man. That's so funny. But in all honesty, though, like, Pikmin 1, again, it's a solid first entry, but its sequels definitely made it so much better. Like, it's one of those franchises you can point to where it's like the sequel just blew the original game out of the water in every regard.
Gears 2 to Gears 1.
Yeah, it just blows it out of the water. Oh, Gears 2. I want to play that. I want to play that so bad. After we did Gears 1 for Game of the Month, like I still haven't gotten around to doing Gears 2.
Hit me up. I'm down with co-op anytime.
Oh,
but anyway, getting back,
good.
yeah, it's a great tech demo and a great proof of concept. But Pikmin 1, it is just a proof of concept at the end of the day, in my opinion. So it definitely sold the idea and it did its mission, but I can't really recommend playing it personally unless you're like into speed runs and optimizing your strategy. Like if you're someone that lives for leaderboards, it's probably the best game for you. But outside of that, I don't really think there's any. If you can play it, but I can't even recommend buying it for $30. It's just not worth it in my opinion. Like unless you're absolutely a diehard Pikmin fan, but yeah, you.
I think that's a fair assessment, honestly. It's not... If you want to complete the franchise, like, yeah, it's cool to start there, see how it builds. If you've played a later game in the franchise, it's like, well, I mean, you've already had it, plus better. So, again, unless you just want to see the story of it, then I don't think I'd personally suggest anyone really need to go back to it.
Yeah.
Like the first, the second one would be where I'd say to start for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, because like a franchise like Halo, you need to play all of them to really get the continuity. But with Pikmin, you can start with Pikmin 2 because Pikmin 2 even starts with a fairly solid recap of Pikmin 1. And
it does.
And considering there's no real big story in Pikmin 1. Because like anything important that happens in Pikmin 1, you learn in that first cutscene in Pikmin 2.
Yeah.
There's no character loss. There's no story loss. There's no development loss. So yeah, again, if if you're a completionist, if you love Pikmin and you want to play all of them, if you love speed runs, Pikmin 1 is good for you. But otherwise, start with Pikmin 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I stand behind that. Pikmin 2 is the better starting point, but it's not that Pikmin 1 is a bad game. It's just that the others were just so much better. So
yeah, it's not a bad game, but it kind of it destroyed its own career. It put itself out of work because the games that came after were just
it was definitely the stepping stone.
Yeah, it failed by its own success.
But we all need to take a moment to just thank Miyamoto for getting into gardening to want to make that proof of concept in the first place anyway. So
and thank the ants that were in said garden.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you, ants in a Japanese garden somewhere.
All right, Wiz. Why don't you leave us with some final thoughts on Pikmin 1 here? 1 minute. All right. All right, Pikmin.
Go to someone else for a second.
What? Oh.
Yeah, Pikmin. Why don't you leave us with some final thoughts of Pikmin 1 here? Pikmin 1. Wow.
All right. Pikmin 1, it's definitely not as better, not as good as its future installments, but it's the blocks that led to everything. It's proof of concept. It's just what every other game builds onto, with the day mechanics in Pikmin 3, with the time management and all the other ones. It's definitely a game. It's not the strongest one of its line, but it's a good one.
So we just need to point out here to troll Pikmin real quick that he just said that Hey Pikmin for 3DS is better than Pikmin 1.
Oh,
Pikmin 1.
Personally, I don't consider Hey Pikmin as part of the Pikmin storyline. Say
it's probably Louis fans. It's
oh man.
Yeah, you're not creating a friendly environment for your backers to come and hang out and have these conversations.
If my backers expect me to be a safe space, they don't know me at all.
Ice over here throwing haymakers.
Hey, I've known Pikmin for a long time, and I don't even recognize his voice anymore.
Me either.
But you know what? We can still have some friendly shade thrown at each other. He throws it back at me just as much, or worse. So it's okay. It's okay. Got to take the shots where you can get them. That's how we operate. I like how it was just like, what is that meme right now? Just
random fun fact. When a friend of mine back when he was in college for like game design, we were making a Pikmin RTS.
Oh, nice.
And then he went somewhere else and the project got lost and I never returned to it. But the Pikmin RTS lives somewhere on a hard drive, somewhere in a closet. It never got far in development, but it existed, at least in concept.
There you go.
Along with some 10-year-old Bitcoin.
Speaking of interesting tidbits about Pikmin 1, though, did you know that you... Okay, well, we just had some technical difficulties. That was fun. All right.
Discord crash, or was that just me?
That was Discord just completely crapping the bed right there. That was awesome.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if we get Pikmin back. Yeah, there we go. So we'll get Pikmin back here.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
Okay.
We got to finish this up real quick.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but when that dropped, what it did was it closed the call to give me a pop-up about stores that I can run in Discord.
Oh, jeez.
So it wasn't like Discord app crashed. It was that they interrupted this program with their commercials.
Yeah, it really was something.
Yeah. Ad break.
Thanks, Discord.
That was something. Anyway, back to what I was saying. On the Pikmin 1 disc on GameCube, if you dump the disc using a modded GameCube or Wii and move it over to your computer, get it extracted, it actually has the full PC debug build that you can run on a PC in it. with it, so you can. It's not 100% working. Like there's a lot of glitches, if I recall, but people have worked on that because it is actually a full-on PC version of the game that someone could compile and run on their machines. So I just thought that was I thought that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, anyway, Wiz, go ahead and leave us your final thoughts on Pikmin 1 before Discord decides to interrupt us with another ad.
Yeah, really grateful to have, more franchises from Miyamoto. And I think, again, like, the world is cool, the concept is cool. But when you look at the controls and, for me, what is an unfavorable time mechanic, I think this is a game, as a first entry, is more fun to watch, like a speed run or someone who's really passionate about the game play. So you get to experience the story and the world without, some of these other inconveniences.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. It's just not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. So I think we've pretty much summed it up. If you want to play Pikmin 1, it is again available on the GameCube, the Nintendo Wii. Unfortunately, the Wii U eShop is closed, so you can no longer get that digital version of the Wii version. But if you have the Wii version, you can, of course, play it on a Wii U. And then, of course, the Pikmin 1+2 port for Switch. So there are lots of options available to get Pikmin 1 if desired. Runs around $30 regardless of platform that you want to get it on. So not the cheapest experience for a 20-year-old game, but it's not Last of Us Part 2 remastered going for a full-on $70. So
You decide to get the Wii version.
Yeah, get the Wii version.
Get that aim.
Controls the Wii version, but for the $30, grab a Switch version and get 1 and 2 combined.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. But
it doesn't have the product placement.
I named my Duracell.
Duracell. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Anyway, but as we've all stated,
brand names that aren't paying ICE. Okay, this video we're not doing free.
We're gonna throw an affiliate link to Duracell batteries down in the description below. So buy some double A's from me, guys. Help support the channel. There we go. Anyway, I think we all can agree that again, it's probably better to start with 2. You're gonna get a much more elaborated on experience, but yeah. There we go. Thank you all for joining us for Game of the Month discussion for Pikmin number 1. So we will be back in January with who knows what, and we will be back in our normal time slot because we don't have holidays to worry about. So we got like a good 45 days to play something, y'all. That's going to be awesome. But Zachary, Wiz, Pikmon, thank you so much again for joining me. Always means the world to have y'all here to talk about games and random nonsense. So.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks for having us again.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. We will see you back next month.